Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevenses, the podcast about business aviation. My name is Martina Vincenzi. I am the founder of the VIP Flight Attendant Academy Private Jet Coach. And today I have the great pleasure to host with us Alice from Czech Republic, Alice Horvath Muska, actually. I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Very nice, very good.
Welcome to Elevenses, Alice.
Thank you very much for having me, Martina.
So Alice is the CEO of a private jet operator. It's called Atmospherica Aviation and is based in Prague. And she has been having this position and running the company for 20 years, if I'm correct, right? For a long time.
The company exists for 20 years, but I am with Atmospherica for the last 3 years, actually. But our development was quite skyrocketing, but I will answer that in some questions later also.
Definitely, yeah. So let's get started with the questions. So Alice is basically the image of the women power. You cover a very important position in your company, obviously, the Chief Executive Officer. So would you like to tell us about your story? How did you end up in this position?
Yeah, that's a very good question and also a long one. I have to say the answer here is not too short. Now I'm the chairman of the board of CTR Atmospherica, and CTR, before this Atmospherica, actually means Cement, Transport and Real Estate. And Atmospherica today represents the T, but it was not always like that. Before we had a company, like a logistic company with trucks that represented the T. And the whole group was founded by my father, who is originally from the Czech Republic, but escaped as a young man the Russian occupation. So I was born and grew up in Germany. And he built this company up really from zero, like this American from dishwasher story. Something I really highly admire. My whole life I'm looking up to him and to what he established and accomplished. And as a child of a refugee and entrepreneur, I was always somehow part of it. It was always clear that I would join the family business one day. And I was always part of it also in sense of when my parents were speaking at home. I heard every phone call. Also as a child, I was on the business trips with them. So it was always part of my life. Then I studied politics, history and management with controlling and business law. So I was a lot in school as well, although my father always said, it's not necessary, come after school and let's go. But that was important for me. I never just wanted to be like the daughter of someone, but I wanted to have achieved the same like the others and make the same path, let's say. And actually, some people sometimes probably think for children it's easier, but it's not. It's even harder. Because people do much more look at you and what you do and how you do it, and you have to prove yourself even more that you deserve the position you have for more reasons than just the family reasons. So this is where I came from in that, and I already started working in the company when I was studying. Actually, the company is headquartered in Prague. Since then, and exists for already 45 years in total, so that you just know. I will be 40 next year, so longer than my life actually already. And I went through every part of the company. I spent time like in the cement part, in the logistic part, what was the former T, and most time I spent in the real estate sector of the company. So I was responsible for marketing, sales and the product itself, and I did that for like 6 to 7 years in a row. I loved this part. I loved this job. I have to say it was very. I learned a lot, but it's a very different product than where I'm now. But I'll let you know how I came there. Because then I had a baby break. I have 2 boys. I have 2 sons, so For a few years, I had a break. I never lost contact to the company, but I had a break, of course. If you have small children, it's just not possible to be there full time. And when I then got back, there was a moment when both went either to elementary school or to school. I started again as like controlling of a very big part of our group, including Atmospherica. And first, I got to know Atmospherica in terms of numbers. It was a small company at that time, or a smaller company, growing into the pillar it is today, this T within CTR. That really happened within the last 3 years. We had a really skyrocketing development, as I already mentioned, and yeah, I got to know it in terms of numbers. I started to see some opportunities and much more potential than was used at that moment, because where Atmospherica came from is the hobby of my father. He's a hobby pilot.
Oh, wow.
So at the beginning, this was a hobby. Then it started to be transporting of managers in the company around Europe, let's say. And then the free time of the aircraft were used for charter. And somehow we made the jump to being an independent company within the group, and not just fulfilling some gaps, but that's, let's say now, the only reason is really the charter business itself. So it's not the transport for managers within the company anymore, although we do that time from time, but it's really a very, very side business, and my father is still a pilot, but yeah, he's doing that aside, let's say. The business is now a business for itself. Yeah, and then from this controlling view, from the number view, suddenly there was the necessity of replacing the sales manager. And I said, okay, so I will do that temporarily. But as you now know, it was not temporarily. I somehow settled in this position. It went well. It was going well, let's say, and as you see, it was not temporarily. I'm still there, but to manage the financial side of Atmospherica and the sales side, that is already a big part of it, or portion of it. I had to leave the rest. So I left the controlling of the other companies we have, mainly the real estate part. Yeah, and Atmospherica swallowed me completely. I have to say. Since then. So yeah, as I said, 3 years now already.
That happens often with aviation, that you get sucked in and you didn't realize.
And I have to say also, the product is so cool. It catches you. At the beginning, I had a funny situation. We went to the airport with colleagues to see the aircraft, and you could smell kerosene in the air. And my colleagues went, it smells so good. And I, what? Why? Really? Now I understand. Now I have the same. I hear the engine, I smell it, and it just, as you said, it catches you. It's such a nice, a catchy, a fascinating, sexy product. I just, can say just like that. Yeah, and in these 3 years, we made such a rapid development. Actually, when I started, we had one Phenom 300E. Not E at that time, just Phenom 300. And when I started, actually that was one of the potentials to see. We said, hey, I think it would be best if we would unify the fleet. Same aircraft. We had, at that time, also 2 Hawker 900 XP that we sold in between. So we bought 3 further Phenom 300, so we have 4 now. 2 more are coming now in September. So as you see, we're following this path of unifying this part of the fleet. And in between also, we bought 2 brand new Preacher 600. So we have these 2 products, these 2 pillars, and this makes the most sense. And the average age of our fleet is currently 2.5 years.
Wow.
For really new and modern fleet. The Preacher fleet actually, even if I would make an average, one is 1 year old and one not even half Yeah. So under 1 year.
A baby. That's very nice. Yeah.
And about the Praetor, it is a brand new aircraft to our company, but also to the Czech Republic. So when we introduced our first Praetor last summer, we didn't just have to introduce it into our company, but to the Czech Republic. And that was quite a thing as well. So we had to train also someone from the authorities for this aircraft, for this type of aircraft. Now we prepared the path for anyone else who would like to introduce a Praetor to his fleet. But that was also part of it, and why it was, I have to say, a lot of work, but it was worth it. And what also happened during the last 3 years, as you hear, we grew so much from 45 to 80 people. So this is to our skyrocketing development. We have already 40 crew members now for our aircraft. So half of this number that I said. So yeah, this is where I'm coming from and how I get here. I'm not a pilot, so I was not always in aviation, although I experienced aviation all my life because as my father is a hobby pilot, I remember myself sitting as a child on the bench of this aero club close to Prague, waiting for him making his next round and round and round. Sometimes I was going with him, and I had to sit in every aircraft that was in this aero club. I was also flying with the glider, with everything, because it was his hobby. So what did we do at the weekend? We were somehow in the aero club.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see this happening actually. It's common for people who has this passion in aviation to just extend this to the other family members. So that's lovely. Lovely story. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. So as a CEO then of CTR Atmospherica, what is a typical day for you? What happens take us with you in one day in your life?
I think there's nothing like a typical day. Probably just not yet. As I told you, we are still developing our company so fast, and the only routine I actually have is issuing monthly reports and weekly reports about our results. That's what I do regularly, but the rest is not typical at all. My main job is to work with people, motivating them, giving tasks and feedback. I'm trying to stay very much in close contact with all colleagues, and I'm trying to show that I'm there for everybody, have open eyes and ears, because the more you get to the top, the more important it is to keep the group of people together and in a good mood. So work is not just about getting salary, but about appreciation, and a good atmosphere and mood are of the same importance then. And kindness, fairness, teamwork are very important to me, and I'm trying to hold this up every day. So this is part of my job, or I see it like that. But as I already told you, within the last 3 years, we bought and integrated 5 new aircraft. We sold 2 old ones. We established a brand new type of the Praetor 600 within the company and the Czech Republic. Furthermore, what I didn't mention, we are currently setting up a second company and asked for a second AOC. So we are actually establishing a second aviation company, and we have these 2 new Phenom in September to arrive. So very much non-standard projects that need a lot of attention. So as I said, no typical day. And while we're doing that, we also have to run the daily business of our company, and we are operating around 1,200 hours per aircraft per year. So that's quite a number, and we have to maintain that. And of course, I have to, except of managing all these special operations, I have to have an eye on our product, maintaining our high service standard. Of course, with sales, as sales manager, I'm in close contact with our team all the time. And in the end, how I entered the company was, and I still am responsible for granting that we are on track with our plans. And this is what I do in many aspects. So typical day, I hope I will have some typical days in the future. because I would appreciate a little bit of routine sometimes.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, it does sound very heavy, very a lot of responsibilities and a lot of duties for you. So yeah, well, congratulations for everything that you have achieved so far and how you still managing ongoing it.
Thank you, but I have to say it's fulfilling me a lot. So if you put so much heart and work into something, and then you are successful with it, what could be more motivating? And the most important thing is my team. To work with my colleagues. They are friends as well, and yeah, so that's the second half that is so important. As I already said, not just salary, but the people you work with. You spend with your colleagues more time of your life than with your family nearly. So that has to fit.
Definitely. So in terms of, from a CEO point of view, so for somebody who's running such a complicated and a complicated business made of all different things that have to match together and work together, what is the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge for me is to manage both the company and my children. It's not the work itself, but to manage everything together. I have two boys and 8 and 10 years old. So of course they need also a lot of attention, and I want to give them the attention as well. And to manage this kind of work and two kids, and my husband has as well a very responsible manager position. So we have both a lot of responsible work, but we never hired a nanny. We never wanted someone else to actually raise our kids. So it was just always him or me catching them or fetching them up from school and bringing them to their hobbies. So I have to say our lives are like a clockwork. Every minute is planned and it has to work. And it works as long as they can go to school and everything is fine. Oh, as soon as someone has the flu, everything falls like a house of cards. Because then, of course, you have to reschedule everything and adjust. And I don't want my colleagues to feel too much a difference then. So in that moment, I'm in some like online regime. But it works. We made it work. Of course, it's always a little bit that you have to give more from yourself. So I'm not demanding too much time like for myself. I'm always thinking my kids are fulfilling, my job is fulfilling, and that's for me now good enough. And when they will be bigger, I will go to the spa more often. But currently it's not too much time. And I'm also very much a perfectionist. That makes it sometimes hard. Because then I'm always asking myself, I am a good manager, I'm a good mom. Is both working? The worst experience for me was when my son took my phone and took it to the bathroom. And he was hiding it there. And I asked him, hey, where's my phone? And when he told me he had to bring it away because I'm too much on it, oh, that was like a punch in the face, I have to say. I was so sorry for that. So since then, I'm trying more and more to find the right balance, and I have the feeling I'm on a good way to manage.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because this is something that I've been told as well, and it's difficult when you are, when you're running a business, you are working with the phone basically, and you are used to a certain speed, probably a rocket in the space. Most of the time to just back and forth, and then you easily do not realize that you are actually taking attention away from other people or situation that also hear your attention. So well,
and that if they ask, for example, do you like the picture I've painted, they do not want to just hear yes. You have to look at it and give some real feedback. Hey, I like the sun and how you put it and the mood and the faces. It has to be more. So this is what I'm trying to keep up. But it's hard work every day. So you asked about the biggest challenge. Definitely this combination. Family and work.
But we are all guilty of that, I would say, with the phones or computers. So so you are not alone.
Thank you. No, it's very true.
So the next question, I would actually start it with a sentence that I have always heard since I've been working in aviation, which is, if you really want to make money in your life, do not work in aviation. What do you think is the highest cost of running a business like a private jet company?
The first thing I have to say, I think this quote is very right, because you have to set up very detailed, very right. Because everyone has to contribute to the success of such a business. Just because, and I had to get used to this, you see big numbers going, you see big revenues, you see big invoices with costs. You have to get a feeling for this. And when people just see this, they sometimes could think, hey, you have some room behind your office where you just put the gold with your shovel. But it's absolutely not like that. It's absolutely not like that. Everyone contributes with every small thing. If it's the fuel calculation, if it's the air hostess not buying the water with the catering company, but from the shop, and so on. Every small thing matters. And this is what makes you successful or unsuccessful. And what I also figured out is, who mostly probably says this sentence, because I often heard the question, hey, I have some money, I would invest into an aircraft and I will be rich, right? No, you won't. Because
the quickest way.
Sorry.
That's the quickest way to lose your money, actually.
Absolutely. An aircraft is really eating money, not producing it in the first moment. So I will tell later what I think is necessary to do to be actually successful. But how the sentence occurred that you said, or the quote is, I think because there are many operators that actually have the business that they operate owner aircraft. So many cost, or if it is a return of investment or not, is actually not in their hands. But the owner is the one who invested, so he is the one who can say that. But I think many owners just want to have some add-on to their cost with chartering also their aircraft. But I know how much you have to do to actually have some return. And I see that this is not the case with many companies. So the difference with us is we own all of the aircraft just for this commercial operation. So we have to make return of investment, and this is what we are considering. And the highest expense you asked about, what we are most considering is, it's not really an expense at this moment, but in the future. We want to be able to replace our aircraft after 6 to 7 years, because we're flying so much that we figured out this is the time where we renew the aircraft. And this is actually really ongoing. We have new aircraft on order with Embraer to replace them when they reach this age. So for example, PHM is now 6 years. And we will now this autumn sell it and replace it with the 2 new ones that are coming. So this cycle is set up. So the highest cost is actually that I'm counting depreciation of the aircraft, but not tax-wise, not accounting-wise, but I'm counting that the aircraft I bought today will be 50% more expensive in 6 years when I will buy it again. So I have to get back the amount of the aircraft plus 50%. And this reserve that I'm making is my biggest expense.
Makes sense, yeah. I always heard as well that you have certain costs which are fixed costs in running a company, but the one that is really a question mark that you can kind of try to control it is maintenance, because you have regular maintenance obviously that you can prepare for, but if an aircraft breaks down unexpectedly, then it's like a toothache. It's
that is worst case, of course, because, and this is also the thing that I never experienced in our other businesses before. When you rent apartments, when you sell apartments, you have certainty, you know this will happen, you can make plans, you make plans for the aircraft. But an AOG, for example, for 1 month in the middle of the season is an unexpected loss. that nobody is responsible for. You have no insurance for like aircraft on ground, someone who would cover your unexpected unavailability of an aircraft. And if, for example, one phenom is on ground, it's 25% of our production line. Of course, we're counting with some days. We have a lot of experience with the phenoms already, so it's not that we would not count with something, but there are still things happening that we've never experienced before. We now had a windshield problem with the phenom, and it really took a month. And the most important thing is spare parts are not available. So this takes you time. And if you are a private owner, you say, okay, you have your aircraft 1 month on ground, so once or 2 times I have to fly with someone else and that's it. But for us, it really means one production line down. And that's the most unpredictable thing about it. But if you asked also about the highest costs, it's still the highest invoices per month you get is maintenance, repairs, like in case of an AOG, spare parts. And as we fly a lot, our engine programs are also very high invoices per month. As you can imagine, if we fly around this 100 hours in average per month, and you have per engine this program, so these are the highest costs we have.
Makes sense. Yeah. In terms of personnel, so your employees, what do you think is the greatest skill or set of skills that somebody should possess in order to be successful in this industry? I'm talking about, pilots, flight attendants, let's say everybody involved into the private jet industry. What do you think is the right set of skills for them?
Yeah, I would say everyone has to have a little bit different skills, but if I would have to say one that counts for all, you have to be go-minded. You have to be a solution finder, not a problem finder. You know what I mean? You can always, in any situation, always see what is not possible. But you have to try to be the one finding what is possible. And here I have to say, I have some colleagues that one I call a magician. He has some magic box in his living room where he always finds the solution and answer to things, but that is crucial. So because sometimes it's this one and sometimes this one who finds the solution or a part of it and inspires the next one to think it to the end, and then you are successful. And in general, be go-minded. So to make the extra step sometimes also. That's crucial for being successful. And in general, for business aviation, a unified fleet, I think you need more than 5 aircraft. Below, you are just covering your costs. That's what I say. Probably anyone or other companies probably have other structures and how they work. A high utilization of your fleet. So it's not enough to fly 50% of your disposable days. So every second day. So that's also part of it. Yeah. And of course, what I said, the extra step from everyone, if necessary, not every day. Of course, it's not necessary every day, but you know that from, I think, being on board of an aircraft as well, to solve any situation how it comes, and with a smile on your face.
Always. If you lose that, you're just gonna be sucked by in the black hole, and that's the end. Game. I also find that if you surround yourself of people who has this mentality of and creativity of finding solution, it becomes a kind of a contagious.
Yes.
So it unlocks something in you, and you unlock something else in somebody else, and you just support basically one another this way. So
you inspire each other then, and makes you yourself more creative. You're saying, hey, why didn't I think about that? So that's enriching a lot, and you can sometimes transfer it to other situations as well. So
yeah, because then it becomes a mindset that you can apply any other aspect of your life. Yeah,
that's true.
I have a last question for you that I like to ask this question to all of my guests of the podcast. So now is your turn. Have you got a memorable story related to your job that you would like to share with us? Something that you remember and that has let's say, a special place in your heart?
Yes, there is a moment. I have to say there are many memorable moments. As I said, no day is like the other. So many small things that make your day. But that was really special. Last year, we joined the Air Charter Association in April. And a colleague of mine in sales was the one who was initiating that. I said, yeah, okay, why not? Sounds interesting what they're offering. And so, but I didn't know everything about it at that moment, I have to admit. And in August last year, they came the information, hey, you were nominated under the last, I don't know if it was 5 or 6 finalists to be the best charter operator of the year. What? Is there actually an award ongoing? I didn't even know that. And then in November, there was this award evening. And my colleague that initiated, also being part of the association, came to me and said, hey, we will fly there. I couldn't at that day fly there for personal reasons. And my colleague said, hey, I bought a new jacket because we are going for the prize. I said, come on, don't be too excited about it, because I cannot imagine there's so many competitors there. They're freshly in this association. I just not to be disappointed, but he was sure. That was really, really nice. And that's the important thing as well, the spirit, right? And I was at home that evening because I had to be at home with my kids, and they were in the bathroom. And suddenly I started to get congratulations on my phone. But it was like New Year, when everyone writes to you, have a good New Year. And there was, hey, congrats. I was, what? What is going on? And my face somehow looked shocked. And my kids suddenly, Mom, what is happening? And I said, nothing bad. That was this moment that my colleagues called me screaming into the phone, showing me this award and saying, yes, we achieved this award, being Best Charter Operator of the Year. I have to say I was flashed, stunned. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know if I should laugh or cry. It was just so symbolic, because at that time we had so much work and so much stress, and it was really a tough time. And this was like the reward for everything. And when I wrote the email to our colleagues the next day, I received so nice messages like, wow, I have goosebumps, and look how or where we came, or what we made and what we achieved. And it made more sense, because we had the feeling it's not just internally, because the ones outside see it as well, and we are doing something right. So that was for me the most memorable moment, because I was not expecting it, and it came out of a sudden and in the right moment. So now when I'm speaking about it, I am shaking hands. It was really very nice. It was like New Year, Christmas, and everything in one.
That's so nice. Very nice story.
So yeah, of course, there are many memorable stories. Short time ago, we, for example, transported a very sick girl for someone. But there are many small moments like this that give you the satisfaction that it's a good thing.
I'm sorry, the video just blocked. I just understood when you say that you got a very sick girl on a flight.
Yeah, that we were transporting, and because we in private are able to do it another way than in an airline, so we could help her a lot, because she needed to be transported in a special way. And when I then received from the family, she's doing better, and thank you so much for everything. And yeah, it's just a good feeling that you could do something special for someone who needed it. So these are many memorable stories that you have every day, and every day is different. So
that's very nice. Well, Alice, it has been a pleasure listening to you and learning about your story and what you're doing. Many congratulations. I personally worked with Atmospherica, so I can't say anything but very good things about the company. Is a lovely managed and a lovely team, and they are doing really good. So congratulations on your achievements, and go on, keep it up with the good job.
Thank you very much.
I thank you once again for your time, and yeah, that's all for today. I'll see you on the next episode. Baci baci.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Ciao.